Hi guys, today our lesson is going to be about landscape. There's going to be a lot of choice on the choice boards. Go outside and draw this or draw that. I think this week there's one about landscape, showing your perspective, showing how far things go. What happens to it, do you remember? I know first grade remembers. What happens when it goes further and closer to the horizon line? What happens to the objects? And we're going to talk about that and remind you, because it's been a while since we did a landscape portrait. So, what's the first thing you always do? Put your name on the paper and put your teacher, remember? On the back in the middle. Don't forget that. Anyway, but you don't even have to turn it in because you can take a picture and show it to me. But let's start with the very first thing you do is draw your horizon line. So let's go right here. And all I have is a pencil or a pen and some crayons. And wherever I am outside, I'm going to look, where is it this far up from my point of view, or is it in the middle? We always kind of go in the middle for our horizon line. And our horizon line is horizontal line. And it could be squiggly, it could be round, it could be straight. Now, we're going to talk about our background, our middle ground, and our foreground. Remember that? This is our background by the horizon line, our middle ground, and our foreground. And remember how to make things look far away and look close up? Do you remember the 3 or 4 things that are our secrets as artists? Okay, let me go over those for you. First, the closer you get to the horizon line, and it doesn't matter if it's clouds, they get smaller. Remember that? Remember how they get smaller? And if they're trees, and they're going to get smaller as they get closer. We don't want a big old house on the horizon line, because that means that doesn't make any sense. Remember, if it's in the foreground, it's bigger. And as it gets smaller and smaller, and it gets smaller to the horizon line. That's one way. Another way, remember, is color. They might be real vibrant and colorful up in front. And as they get closer to the horizon line, the color changes and it gets less detailed. For instance, let's say I have some flowers right here. And my lines go straight up, don't they? Because flowers go straight up. Okay? And then as they're in the middle, you might just see different colors. Maybe the same color of the flowers, but in the middle ground, you're just going to see colors, not so much detail. And as they get further in the background, what happens? They even change colors, maybe a darker color, because you can't see them because they're so vibrant. Kind of the same thing with mountains. So your colors are going to change. Remember what the third thing is too? They overlap. So we always want to start with our mountains or whatever's in the background. It could be just a bunch of trees that change colors. Then we might have something that might overlap this, maybe a tree. And then as it gets closer to us, it's going to change color, isn't it? I'm going to make this one blue. And then as it gets closer to me, the colors change. And then they get real vibrant, remember? Let's see, I don't think I have any brown. My colors are not there. Oh, here's one. So here's going to be my tree. And it's going to be more detailed. Now remember, I'm going to put some texture in there. Make my limbs look. And I'm going to go over it. But this tree might overlap this tree, which is going to be not as vibrant. So it'll make it look like it's in front. And it's going to be bigger because it's in the front. And remember, we always have shadows, and we don't want to use black as much, but we could put maybe the sun over here, and the shadow will be over here. Okay, so we had it getting closer to the horizon line. They get smaller, so this tree needs to be bigger than this tree. So I can fix that. We can always fix things in art. And then this one just kind of gets smaller. Can't really see them. And then as I get to back here, you can't even see them on those mountains, can you? Remember that? Remember when we did that? Okay, so we overlap. More detailed, less detailed, and they change color. Okay, so that's the first part of our lesson. Now, what's the first thing we do? Always draw a horizon line. And if you're going outside and you see something outside, look at what you're looking at. If you're looking over here at this fence, put a dot on there. And do you remember what that's called? Our vanishing point. And if your road, remember, we just kind of look and see what we're looking at. Notice that my road gets smaller. And if I'm going to put some trees here, I'm going to put an imaginary line, not very, so you can't see it, because I don't have a pencil. But if I have trees right here, look how they're going to get smaller. And notice that my line is vertical. They're not laying down, because remember, line shows direction. They're straight up and straight down. Okay? If these are telephone poles, these lines are going to be like this. You can get your ruler out and you can show that. Remember we did this in art class? And we could turn this into anything. We could turn it into a road, water. Correct? So let's put our clouds. Remember, our clouds have a little bit of shadow in here. They get smaller as they get to the horizon line. And then we could put a big tree right here. I don't know what you're drawing outside. If we really want to know what the correct size would be, we could always put our lines there. We could put a pond over here. Even our ponds, you know, you could put it in perspective. But if we're going to color anything laying on the ground, you have to color it sideways. If I color it up and down, remember, see how I'm coloring it sideways? If I color it up and down, it's going to look like the road's going straight up. Okay? I don't want to do a whole picture and bore you with my creativity, because your road and your house and your whatever you're drawing outside is going to be different than mine. Right? And don't forget about your texture. This is going to be a real leafy. And I'm not just going to use one color, am I? I'm going to use different colors. So they'll pop out and go back in. I could even use blue, because I know blue makes green. So it'll just make it darker when I go back over it. I'm going to make these a little bit. Okay. So that's one part of your horizon of your landscape. I don't know what you're going to build outside, but first make sure you have a horizon line. And remember, when you're coloring your sky, you got to color all the way down to the horizon line. And then your grass has to be colored all the way to the horizon line. We don't have any empty space outside. We have a sky that goes all the way to the earth. And I know my kindergarten already know that, because they practice this a lot. And I know they know how to put limbs and trees. And I know they even know how to put shadows on their clouds. And notice I'm coloring sideways, because if I didn't, it would look like the sky is going a different direction. And it's just kind of out there. I can get my white and put in here. If I want to make it more pronounced, my clouds. We never use black, do we? Because we want our landscape to look different. I mean, more vibrant. I don't know what you're going to put in your landscape or what you see outside, but it's your creation. You make what you want. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. The next one's going to be about bubble lettering. See you later. Bye.